Okay. I call to order the March 13th, 2025 Planning Commission meeting. We will start the meeting with an invocation and pledge of allegiance. So, Commissioner Walker, could you please lead us in the invocation?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Heads bowed. Heavenly Father, as we gather here this evening, we ask for your guidance and wisdom. Grant us the ability to listen attentively and deliberate thoughtfully and to act with integrity. May we be mindful of the needs of our residents and work together to create a thriving, vibrant place for everyone. We ask these things in your holy name. Amen.
Amen.
Please rise. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Mr. Stouter, could you please call the roll? Oh, okay.
Ramick, Campbell, Sharma,
Present.
Stone, Scott, Gerke, Collier,
Here.
Lamont,
Here.
Davis,
Present.
Walker,
Here.
Val, Stafford.
Here. All right, thank you. Now I'd entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes from last meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All right, very good. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No. Motion passes. And we do have a couple of adjustments to the agenda. Items 2 and 3 have been withdrawn, and item 5 has been tabled to the April 10th meeting. So given that, may I have a motion and a second for approval of tonight's amended agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Very good. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. So let's move to the consent agenda. First matter of business is the consent agenda. May I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda with staff findings and recommendations?
So moved.
Second.
All right, very good. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. So we're down to Director Selman. Would you please present the consent agenda?
Yes, we have one item on consent. That's SPA 25001. It's at 5302 and 5308 Central Avenue. This is a large-scale development site plan. This is an amendment to modify the entrance into this previously approved multi-structure residential development. The applicant is Mr. Aaron Burrows with Atoka Incorporated, and this amendment is on a 2-acre site. It's classified both as a large-scale development and a preliminary plat, as the owner wants the option for the townhomes to be sold and owned individually. This property is located outside Hot Springs city limits within the city's adopted planning area and has a future land use classification of residential suburban. Finding is that the application submission requirements have been met. The application is seeking a variance from the Arkansas Fire Prevention Code driveway grade requirements. They are seeking approval for a slope of 12.5%, which is 8-to-1, on the west exit driveway. The slope of grades downhill toward the lake of 14.3%, or 7-to-1. This variance request has been reviewed and approved by the Lake Hamilton Fire and Rescue Department, Fire Marshal Bill Heck. The Facts of the application and review demonstrate how the site and development plans as amended comply with the requirements of Hot Springs Code Section 16422 and other Hot Springs codes applicable to the review, subject to compliance with conditions of approval. The recommendation, of course, is for approval with a number of conditions, which I will read into the record. These conditions are important because they will make the application comply with the requirements of Hot Springs Code Section 16422. Number 1, the development sites shall be constructed and developed in strict accordance with the approved amended site and development plan, including but not limited to location of buildings, drives, fire hydrant, utility lines, lighting, driveway grades and slope, grooved concrete retaining walls, parking, and landscaping. Number 2, all construction and construction activity are to be accomplished in strict accordance with all applicable approval conditions and with the minimum standards, codes, rules, and regulations and policies as may now or hereafter be required or enacted by the City of Hot Springs, the State of Arkansas, and/or the United States of America, including the Arkansas Fire Prevention Code, whether or not submitted for staff review or Planning Commission approval. Number 3, approve the Arkansas Fire Prevention Code driveway grade variance for the slope of 12.5% on the west exit driveway, the slope of grades downhill toward the lake of 14.3%, as approved by Lake Hamilton Fire and Rescue Fire Marshal Bill Heck, as documented on his February 28, 2025 email. Number 4, prior to any work beginning, separate permit applications shall be made to and issued by RDOT, Garland County Stormwater, and Garland County 911 addressing. Number 5, any exterior lighting shall be fully downcast, shielded, and full cutoff so as to retain all illumination on the subject property. And number 6, an approved large-scale development site plan application shall be effective for 1 year from the date of Planning Commission approval, which is March 13, 2026. That is the day the site plan will expire. Prior to this expiration date, the Director of Planning and Development may extend the original site plan approval for up to 2 one-year periods upon the applicant's written request. And that concludes the findings, the recommendation, and conditions. And you have, did you vote on that?
Not yet.
Not yet, okay.
All
Thank you.
right. Thank you, Director Selman. Now that we've heard the report, Mr. Stouter, could you please take the roll on the motion to approve the consent agenda?
Sharma,
Approve.
Collier,
Approved.
Lamont,
Approved.
Davis,
Approved.
Walker,
Approve.
Stafford.
Approve. All right. So next we move to new business. Director Selman, could you please introduce our first item on the new business part of the agenda?
Yes, I will. That will be item number 4. And that is a rezone number 25008 at 2748 Melbourne Avenue. This is a request to change zoning from R2 to C3 for approximately 2.09 acres.
Okay, a motion to approve merely gets the matter on the floor for discussion. A motion and second do not mean that you are necessarily in favor of an application. May I have a motion and a second to approve the item with staff findings and recommendations?
So moved.
Second.
All right, Director Selman, would you please present the staff report on the item?
Thank you. This rezone application was submitted on January 22nd, 2025, which is prior to the March 1st, 2025 effective date of the city's new zoning code. So we will be looking at this application and evaluating it based upon the zone districts and zoning regulations in effect at the time that the application was submitted. The applicant and property owner, Jerry Young, seeking zone change consideration from R2 Suburban Residential District zoning to C3 Office Neighborhood Commercial zoning for property at 2748 Malvern Avenue. The future land use map designation is residential low. It's located in Board of Directors District Number 6.
Okay.
I've got more.
All
You
right,
can't stop
good.
me. Yeah, thank you. This property is surrounded on the west by R2 Suburban Residential, on the south, same district, on the north, C4 Regional Commercial Open Display District, and on the east, C3 Office Neighborhood Commercial. Adjacent and nearby land uses include a public school, shopping center, convenience store, manufactured home park, duplex residential, and single-family residential. It's been under the Young family's ownership for a number of years. The property has approximately 250 feet of street frontage along Malvern Avenue, also known as Arkansas Highway 270, and it's across Malvern Avenue from the Pleasant Mobile Home Park. I don't want to go into tremendous detail here because you have gone through this on your own. The application demonstrates compatibility with surrounding development and zoning. It's consistent with the objectives of the zoning code. The office neighborhood commercial district C3, which in part says the C3 district exists to allow limited commercial along with office development in proximity to residential areas. Further, the district exists to promote mixed-use developments that increase the use of non-vehicular traffic. C3 districts also serve as proper buffers between low-density residential and higher-intensity commercial uses. Building masses should be modest and in scale with residential developments. Although primarily serving surrounding neighborhoods, C3 businesses must rely upon the migration of customers from outside the neighborhood boundaries. Access and traffic circulation are key issues in their location. The finding with regard to the future land use plan map is that the future land use classification of residential low, which is not compatible with the requested C3 zoning, would require a future land use plan map amendment to neighborhood commercial, which is consistent with the requested C3 zone district. The finding with regard to the zoning map is that the applicant has successfully demonstrated that the standards for favorable consideration have been met. Planning Commission is able to establish a basis for recommending to the Board of Directors that the proposed change demonstrates compatibility with surrounding development and zoning and is consistent with the objective of the zoning code for the C3 district. The recommendation is that you recommend that the Board of Directors adopt an ordinance amending the zoning map to designate the subject property CN, which is Neighborhood Commercial District, as the C3 Office Neighborhood Commercial District zone no longer exists, and that's as of March 1st. It has transitioned to be known as CN, Commercial Neighborhood District. With Ordinance 6513, the reason for recommending that change is that the change demonstrates compatibility with surrounding development and zoning, is consistent with the objectives of the zoning code, and also to recommend amending the future land use plan map to designate this property neighborhood commercial. That completes the staff report.
All right, thank you. Could the applicant please come forward and give your name and address for the record? And let us know if there's anything you'd like to add or clarify, and you have 5 minutes.
Okay. My name's Jerry Young, and I guess the reason I'm here is to try to rezone the property. We've had it listed for a couple of 6-month runs and tried to sell it. And the only action we had on it, so to speak, was people that were interested if it were rezoned commercial. That's my reason for trying to be up here and trying to sell it. It's been in my family since I was a little bitty kid. I grew up there. It just, once I moved out, hard to maintain it and, maintain that home and where I exist now. And also, I guess that's all I would like to add, other than I would like to, if I could get it rezoned, I think it would sell. And I would like to, move forward with my life and help my kids and family and with the money that we got out of it. So,
All right. Very good. Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, is there anyone signed up to speak on this item? Okay, so since no one is signed up to speak, the public discussion on the item is now closed. Commissioners, do you have any questions?
I have one question for the director to clarify the fact that this recommendation included the note that the application was submitted in January under the old ordinance, but in the findings, we are actually not recommending C3, but a CN, which is the new ordinance. So it seems like a contradiction to some of the things we discussed. If you would just maybe clarify
Yes,
That-
the
what has changed.
C3 designation no longer exists, so it cannot be assigned. And the equivalency table that we went over a number of times showed that the C3 zone district would convert to the name CN. So because they came in under the old code, we used the old code to evaluate it. However, we can't give them C3 because C3 is gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not a grandfather situation?
No.
Okay.
The,
Legal
no.
issue. All right, thank you very much.
Yep.
Any other questions from the commissioners? Okay, in that case, Mr. Stouter, could you please call the roll on the motion to approve?
Collier,
Approve.
Lamont,
Approve.
Davis,
Approved.
Walker,
Approve.
Sharma,
Approve.
Stafford.
Approve.
Okay, the item has a recommendation for approval. The final decision will be made by the Board of Directors. They will meet in this room on April 1st at 6 o'clock, and you will be on their agenda that night. I will present at that meeting pretty much the same thing that we did tonight. And, you're free to say anything you like or nothing. It doesn't matter. It's up to you. But it will go to them with a recommendation for approval from planning permission. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. In that case, Director Selman, could you please introduce the next item?
The next item has been tabled to the April 10th meeting when you approve the agenda. So the final item of the evening
Item
is
4.
the director's report.
Oh,
And we have so much stuff. The first thing, not all of you were here, but House Bill 1510 has been passed by both the Senate and the House of Representatives in Little Rock. And that will, if it is signed by the governor, and we have no reason to think that it won't be, that will eliminate the city's planning jurisdiction in the adopted planning area. So we will have to say goodbye to Garrett and Puniza because their seats are designated as representing the adopted planning area residents. So I personally want to thank you tremendously for the time that you have given to Hot Springs. You don't even live here, and you've been absolutely wonderful. All the way through Code Forward, through all the other projects that we've done. Both Garrett and Puniza have been tremendously helpful and committed. So as soon as you get that new address in Hot Springs, I do hope that you will come back. But on the upside, I think that we're good through April. If you will come back for the April meeting, we would love that. And hey, maybe the governor won't sign it, you know? So you never know. But I wanted to be sure to explain that they aren't disappearing. They're not being taken away by a spaceship or anything like that. It's not our choice to see you go, but here we are.
Be kind of sad.
It is sad.
For real.
But on the upside, we have the landscape draft. And I don't know if any of you have been through this. There's no quiz this time, but we will be doing a work session before the April meeting, 5 o'clock. If you could do a little bit of preparation, go through this, highlight the things that you think are needing discussion, clarification, elimination, whatever, things that may have been left out. This continues our work on Code Forward and will be the landscape regulations that will apply within the city limits. So have fun. They're well done. It's only 10 pages. The last time I think we gave you 200. So this,
Or more.
yeah, or more. 200 over and over again, always different. Okay, and the final thing is the
When is the
planning.
meeting? When is the work meeting?
The work session is April 10th at 5 o'clock, right here. Okay, so the last thing we have is the draft work plan. I tried to put together all of the suggestions that came out at the end of our last meeting when we talked about how we're going to address housing and then how were we going to work landscaping and signs into that. The first thing you said was, let's do landscaping first. Let's get that off the table. It's quite quantitative. There's not as much conceptual stuff in it as there was with the rest of the code. So I think we can take a couple of months to go through that and finish it up. So April will be the first discussion on that. Then we'll do signs. Robin has been wanting to redo the sign code for quite a while. She loves the sign code. And we'll probably start looking at that in May. So, and Garrett and Puniza, if you want to keep coming, you know that's fine.
I'm full of ideas.
The ideas that came out last time we met were to involve a variety of sources, including the public, developers, manufactured home representatives. We had a lot of discussion about how to involve the public, making it convenient to participate. And the things that came up were to meet at the library, to use maybe the Nextdoor platform, because people don't like to go to the city sites, the web center. Keep things very simple. Do posters at the gyms or small businesses. Use QR codes to auto post on calendars for people. And to take a look at what our surrounding cities are doing in terms of policies, and trying to see if there's some work that's maybe already been done so that we're not reinventing something that already exists. There was discussion about doing surveys maybe on Facebook. Trying to get people to pay attention was something that almost everybody was strongly interested in making happen. Making sure that the board of directors understand what we're doing, why we're doing it, and the recommendations that come out of our work, involving a number of social media platforms rather than just one. Making sure that we hear the voice of the public over the very loud voice of the manufactured home lobbyists who've been involved so far this year, making sure that people have an opportunity to help shape what we're doing and that they don't feel left out. That we need to answer the question about why would somebody want to be involved in this discussion about housing. And that's something that I think we need to think about.
Kathy, can I say this? Because I didn't say it before. Like at different events, if a person from the commission was there, people stop at your table. I mean,
Okay.
like I know at my events, we have people from housing and other things, and when it says housing, that's a catch
Okay.
for anybody, because people need housing. So if a person from a housing representative, even from this commission, had pamphlets or just were available to talk to people or give people a survey and explain the survey or just help them with it, you could get a lot of people.
Okay.
Just to do at open events, like anybody's event. I mean, the Democratic events or whatever the event was, an open event.
Yeah.
People would immediately, I know we do, and I have over 200 people. And even Robbins Gateway, if you have people there in housing, I mean, the word housing just immediately.
Gets
Food
people's
and
attention.
housing. Yes, food insecurity and housing.
Yeah.
People gravitate quickly. So that may be something, you know, like when, even at the library, when different groups meet, if you could have somebody from the commission or somebody, representative, there to represent, you
Okay.
get a lot of feedback.
Okay.
So I've
I
been
wrote
doing,
it all down.
been doing some thinking on this, probably not as much as I should, but one thing I kind of wanted to back up a little bit, not back up, but just to say if, I think we need to come up with a statement of purpose or an objective. This is, you know, we need to put together a scope of work for our study. This is what we will do, this is what we will not do, this is what we intend to deliver, that sort of thing. I think that will help keep us between the ditches when we're trying
Okay.
to get the work done. So I would hope that we could come up with that statement of purpose first, and along with the statement of purpose, kind of who needs to be involved. I mean, will we ask people from the city board or the housing authority or somebody to be involved with us? Maybe not. Maybe that's not a good idea. I don't know. But we just need to figure out, I think,
Okay.
and have agreement among ourselves about what is the scope and who is involved.
You'd be surprised how many people don't understand housing. You know, they just want to find some place to live, and they don't understand the process. You know, somebody said, if I call this person, and I've had people from Housing Authority there who explain or give them applications or different people, groups. So yes, you're exactly right about venue, an objective and a statement. So they know where to go, where to start, and this is what you gotta do.
And it also helps give our eventual results more credibility, I think, if we say up front what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And make sure that we stick to that. So I was kind of hoping, maybe this is too aggressive, but, you know, actually, one of the things that I was wondering is, does the city have a hosted site for collaboration in projects?
No,
No.
no.
Well, we discussed that earlier in one of our meetings, of trying to put up a similar site
Yeah.
to Code Forward
Right.
that would, again, receive public input and do some drafts and things, and the appropriate place to place our introductory statement and purposes.
Yeah. I think we need to have something like that. And it would also be helpful if we had some way to collaborate among our working group, because there's probably going to be things that come up maybe between planning meetings where if somebody was someplace, it would really help, that sort of thing. So I don't know if we want to just have an email list. I've used a variety of different sort of collaborative software. One is called Monday, for example, that is really good at that kind of team collaboration. If we don't have something like that, would it be acceptable for us just to get an account and do that? I don't want to be insensitive about putting materials where they shouldn't be or that kind of thing.
Anything that we do where there is more than one person is Freedom of Information Act
Yeah, yeah.
fodder. Anybody who wants it can get it. So, because you are a decision-making body, any time that more than one person is interacting, it needs to be advertised and it needs to be public. So,
Could we just advertise in the sense that, you know, the Planning Commission is undertaking this study with these objectives, and we'll be collaborating through it's probably not going to work, but I mean, I just,
we can look into what the options are, and there may be things that we're able to do through public information that we haven't been doing, and I'll find out what those things are.
Okay.
But we are bound by some fairly strict rules with regard to what we do and who can be there when we do them.
right.
Yeah.
So it's different, and but that doesn't mean there's not a way that we can make something happen.
Well, and certainly until we get together again, if we can, you know, just have people thinking about what do we want to accomplish with this study? And what would be useful to the city and to our residents to deliver in terms of a study? So if we can be thinking about that kind of stuff, I suppose, you know, if necessary, we could schedule a work session, but right now we got,
Yeah.
we kind of have nothing but runway. So once we have some stuff to work with, then I think we'd be more productive. What do you think, Bill? You want to, you thinking it'd be okay to start in the next month, or to come with some stuff prepared?
Well, I'm listening to you. I'm thinking that perhaps between now and April the 2nd, or was it 3rd and the 10th? No. Yeah.
Yes, the 3rd and the 10th.
3rd and the 10th, our agenda and our regular meeting, that perhaps we can submit some materials to the director in terms of some of our preliminary thoughts. Let her merge it all together if she's willing
Yeah.
to do that.
I can do that.
And then we can have we already said we're gonna have a session on landscape prior to the meeting, but,
On the 10th, but
10th.
Yeah.
this is something we could certainly talk about at that noontime meeting on the 3rd.
Yeah.
Is that something,
Yeah, absolutely. I just was realizing that you'll probably be the chairman in the next meeting because I'll be out of pocket.
Of the agenda meeting.
Yeah, the agenda meeting. Not, I'll be back for the
Be back
regular
for the
meeting.
10th, okay. Yeah.
okay, so noon, April 3rd, we'll do our agenda meeting, and then we'll maybe take a look at putting that statement together and the scope. And anything that you're thinking about that, just shoot me an email. You can call, doesn't matter how you do it. But let's start putting things together. And if you get enough to me, maybe I can start to rough something up for you. And, you know, I want it to come from you. I don't want to impose my thoughts on you. This is your product. So it needs to be your ideas and your energy that are in it.
With your guidance, of course.
Well, I would love to be involved, but I don't want to force my opinions.
No,
So-
understand.
Well, and just to throw something out there, I would look back to our work on the code revisions, and I think a core of what we're talking about is housing study. But just for you to think about, we don't have to go full-blown discussion, but initial thoughts are, there were things in our discussions of the code, and that kind of thinking back on that, we need to say, how does the code as revised support the board's goals for not just housing, but affordable housing in
Yeah.
particular, that follows up on the study that was
Yeah.
done in the end of '23, early '24. So in terms of what supports that and what works against that from the code. Now, that's a fairly restrictive thing. I've put on my list of things to do, and I haven't started, but at least to go back and review that housing study report
Yeah.
that came out, because there's a lot of data in there and a lot, just things I think we need to understand about.
Yeah.
One, it really lays out the city's goals and their strategy. Talks about some of the challenges and problems with that, as I recall. And so we take that and kind of build on that. It's just a very broad brush right now.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
And Director Tillman, you'll put out a reminder so that all the rest of the
Oh, yeah.
committee members will have
Yep,
that.
yep. Yes.
But a challenge would be, would people think this is for someone building a house, for someone buying a house, or is it a house to live in? Renters?
I think that's part of the scope that we need to define, and that'll help us keep it to what it should be instead of trying to take on the whole world.
Right. And Planning Commission has in its ordinance establishing Planning Commission specific things that Planning Commission can do and not do. So why don't I get that out too?
Right.
That, I think, will kind of help us to circumscribe things.
Yeah.
And that comes straight out of state law.
Because before you can get an objective done, you don't know what you, I mean, you have to know what specifics you can say to it. I mean, say to what you're talking about.
Well,
Right.
I think that's up for us to decide.
Well, within the
Within the- yeah,
constraints
yeah.
of what the state says you can talk about.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Okay?
One question I have is, how big is the pipeline of projects that are still under the previous code?
It is increasingly small. We have the two projects that were withdrawn today were in the old code. They're gone. We have item number 5 that will be coming to you in April. That was a conditional use, so we're not talking about that.
Site plan.
But that,
It's actually a large-scale development site.
oh, it
plan.
is, it's
Yeah.
not conditional, okay. But that came in under the old code. Is there anything else?
Not that I know of. And actually, it wouldn't be really pertinent because it's not zoning code related.
Right,
I mean, it's subdivision,
Right.
large-scale development. So with the withdrawal of the two requests tonight, that may finish it up.
yeah,
Other than, the zoning that you just acted on.
right.
I think that's right.
And the backyard food truck guy, is he,
That's the site plan amendment. That's subdivision
Okay, yeah.
code. Yeah.
that's all from chapter 4,
Or-
yeah. Okay,
Excellent.
yeah,
All right, so now we
Okay.
can go forward without looking back.
we can, pretty much. Yeah,
Excellent. Okay. Is that all?
that's all I have. The hard work starts on April 3rd.
You got it.
And April 3rd, my
Noon.
goddaughter is having surgery in Dallas, so I leave
Oh.
on April 2nd.
Okay,
And I won't be back till that Sunday,
okay.
the first week.
Well, then we'll see you April 10th.
Yes,
Okay. Yep,
but I'll have you sending out the information,
yep.
in the next few days.
I would say
Whenever.
within the next week or
Okay.
so, yeah.
So we
Yeah.
can start the bill.
Mm-hmm,
Send you stuff before May 10th.
yep.
All right, I guess the only thing left is, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All right,
Good.
we are adjourned.
And thank you for being here.